Xiomara, she's a small entrepreneur in El Salvador, and we're gonna be talking about her. She's 32 years old. She has 2 kids, 6 and 9. She lives in Nahuizalco, which is a small town out of San Salvador. And as you can see, she does a lot of things, a lot of small things for selling to tourists and visitors in her town. Xiomara, she sells on average $40 per day. That's around $1,200 in a month. Out of those $1,200, she makes around $400 in net profit. That's what she makes with her business. Her husband, he's a private security guard, and he makes the minimum wage. For those who doesn't know what is the minimum wage in El Salvador, it is $352. And after taxes and after insurance, he receives around $300 per month. So together, they make around $700 for her home, and they have to pay the rent and their transportation and a lot of stuff out of those $700. This is the place where she sells her stuff, and she works every single day from Monday to Sunday. She doesn't rest any single day. And this is what I wanted to talk to you about. She makes $700, the family, her husband and her together. Out of those $700, they spend around $200 in food. That is $6.66 per day, around that. On transportation, they spend $150. That is because their kids have to go to school, because and also the security guard, the husband, needs to go to his job, and she needs to move to her store. They spend around $5 per day on public transportation, $150 per month. They pay $200 in rent for her home, for their home. And the rest, $150, they still have to pay water, electricity, medications, and miscellaneous. That is how they spend $700 per month in El Salvador. Of course, they don't have savings, they don't have investments, they don't have their own property. And it is very important that we understand this scenario, because this scenario is what makes 70% of the population in El Salvador. That is the unbanked. These people, they don't have a bank account, a checking account. They don't have a debit or credit card. They don't have a loan to pay for their studies, to pay for their car, to pay for their house. They have never gotten into a plane. They have never bought a subscription, Netflix or Spotify or anything like that. They don't have the means to do it. So we need to understand how they think, how they feel, how they spend their money before trying to onboard them into any kind of money, not only Bitcoin, but we need to understand that. We need to understand what is important for them. And it is curious that in Latin America, almost 65% on average have the same situation. Mexico is 65%, El Salvador is 70% of unbanked population. Across Central America, it is around 65, except Panama, which has 50% of unbanked population. And the same number goes on in South America. To have a perspective on this number, if you compare it to US, Canada, or Europe, 95% of the population has a bank account. In US, 95% of population has a bank account, and over here, 70% does not. So this is very important, again, to understand, because the products and the services that you see in the States, in Canada, in Germany, are not the same for Latin America. They are totally different. based on the perspective that they live with $700 per month. So, we have 668 million persons in Latin America. Out of those 668 million, 434 million are still unbanked. Traditional banks, as you know, are years behind us in technology, and when I say us, it's Bitcoin. They don't even understand what we are doing, but they are gonna get there very soon, and very hard, trust me. One thing that is very important is that they generate 30% of the GDP on average, the unbanked population. So if we want to change the economy of a country, we need to put attention on this population, on the unbanked. Not on the 1% of the population that can pay a car or that can travel to somewhere, or the Bitcoiners, which we are 0.2% yet. But that's not the target that we need to be approaching as of today. What is the main pain that they have in order to change their situation? For a person like Xiomara, in order to increase their sales, when we approach these people, we always ask them, how can we help you? We always receive 3 answers. First one is, help me sell more. Second one is, help me to make my costs lower. And the third one is, give me money for capital, give me a loan. That's the 3 answers that we always get from them. So we decided to start understanding how could we help them first to increase their sales. Well, let me tell you that in these populations, in these localities, the biggest income comes from tourists, right? Tourists always come with credit cards, debit cards, Bitcoin, and cash. But if you are right beneath Puerto Acajutla, where we are receiving, chips every day with a lot of tourists, they are always with credit and debit cards, and they have no means to receive this kind of payments. Why? Because they don't have a bank account. And even receiving payments in Bitcoin is difficult for them if you don't have a bank account, because in the end, you have to pay for the bus, you have to pay for your rent of your home in fiat. So you need to have some means to do that exchange from Bitcoin to fiat in order to pay your costs. So, in order to receive digital payments, Visa, MasterCard, Bitcoin, and stablecoins, this is very important, we're gonna talk about it, you need a bank account to do final settlement. But we understood that we couldn't do it with the current regulation, at least the banking regulation, and that's why we decided to enter this space. As a Bitcoin company, we are able to give them an account in 5 minutes, and we're going to talk about that. Remember Xiomara? She is 32 years old. Her level of study is 9th grade. She has never traveled. She has never had a credit or debit card. So we need first to bring her into technology. One thing that she does have is a cell phone with Facebook and WhatsApp, but that's it. She has no financial education. So the first thing that we need to do is to bring her into technology. And when I say bring her into technology, I'm still not saying anything about Bitcoin. I'm talking about giving her some way of managing their money, a way to use her money as she is already used to do it. We need to give her in some sort of way fiat rails. If we don't, that lady that lives with $6 per day for food, she's not going to be able to do it. What if we expose her to the volatility of Bitcoin? Some days she's going to make money, more money, but some days she's going to lose some. And she cannot afford that, because losing $1 in a day means having 10 tortillas menos, right? So we need to give her a way to get that Bitcoin immediately into cash. So that's the first step, as we see it. giving her a way to receive Bitcoin, digital payments, and converting them into cash. The second part for us is doing education. After she has financial education, she's going to be able to understand what saving or investing means. That's the third step. As soon as she has financial education, we teach her how to convert and keep her money in Bitcoin. And the last step, as we see it, is giving her the opportunity to do self-custodial, telling her, teaching her that she doesn't need us, that she can be self-sustainable. So those are the steps that we see as the path for doing Bitcoinization with a person, with an unbanked population. So the first step was giving them a digital wallet. In 5 minutes, you only need a phone number and an email, and that's it. Immediately, we give them a debit card, a MasterCard, an international card that she can use for two things. And the main one that we were interested was to giving her means of going into an ATM and withdrawing that money, converting that Bitcoin immediately and getting it into cash without having a bank account. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we give her the opportunity to use the card anywhere in the world. And the third thing is that she can buy now things out of El Salvador with her debit card and bring them to El Salvador to sell them, import goods. And of course, we needed to give her the means to receive payments, traditional payments, with Visa and MasterCard. So we also did that in 5 minutes without having a bank account. That's very important. And the second step, after she has been doing transactions with our tools, is offering her a loan to grow her business. And that's the way we change the life of Xiomara and the next generation, because we are creating a lot more income for her and for her family. So it's not a single product solution. It has to have a circular economy in order to make it work. And we were right about these assumptions. Unbanked population, in 90 days, we didn't even have any marketing campaign. It was just organic. But we understood the pain that they had, and we were solving that pain. And they started calling us, saying thanks to Ditobanx, because they were now able to receive payments from tourists, from their customers, and starting to convert them into fiat right away. So what are the challenges in Latin America to continue doing this? Well, probably the most important challenge that we have, as you all know, is the volatility of the currencies in Latin America. El Salvador and Panama, I believe Ecuador as well, are the only countries in Latin America that still use US dollars. Out of those countries, we have big volatility in Mexico, in Brazil, Guatemala, Honduras, Costa Rica, I cannot tell you. Argentina, let's not even talk about Argentina. And there is where stable coins and Bitcoin become a solution, because you can immediately escape that volatility and then use it whenever you want to do it. The second challenge is anti-money laundry regulation. One friend once told me, if you touch money and you touch people, you are regulated. Either you like it or not. And that is true. Guess what? Bitcoin is legal currency in El Salvador. We are touching money. So we are subject to anti-money laundering regulations. And this is not even close to crypto regulations. This is plain AML. Means that we need to do KYC on our customers, means that we need to put limits on the transactions, means that we need to do reporting every week. But this in some sort of way is good for us because it gives us a lot of confidence. People start trusting in us because of that. And not only people, partners as well. If we weren't as regulated as we are today, as Ditobanx is regulated today, we wouldn't be able to do a partnership with MasterCard, not even with the big exchanges. You know, having an account with the big exchanges that you know today, and a lot of friends that are here, is sometimes harder than getting a bank account. They are even tougher with the anti-money laundering and KYC procedures than a traditional bank. In average, it takes for us 3 to 4 months to open a bank account. And as of today, we have bank accounts in the States, Mexico, all over El Salvador, Panama, Colombia. But every bank account that we have, every fiat rail that we enable, takes 3 to 4 months. And it is only possible because we are heavily regulated. And of course, cryptocurrency regulation as well. Time is up. Here's my LinkedIn, and I am open to any question that you might have. Thank you.